Okay, in this video I'm going to show you a few things as if you were taking a math test. So in this one, I just want to point out up here at the top, you'll see these on pretty much every test you take. It could change based on what type of test, but you can zoom in here and zoom out. So when you zoom in, things get larger, but you may not see the entire screen, so do what you're comfortable with. You can save, you can pause. Just know that if you pause, you're going to get this right here. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to pause? And just know that if you pause more than 20 minutes, then you can't go back in time. So let's say I'm on question 2. If I pause more than 20 minutes, when I come back to continue, I would not be able to go backwards to see the question I did right before this one. Okay, and it says also ask your test administrator before pausing. That would be your teacher most likely. So maybe I don't want to pause, I'll say no. So in this problem, you need to do a couple things. There's an L-shaped desk, and first drag numbers to the boxes to show the missing dimensions. So over here we can see here's our choices of numbers, and here's our boxes. So if I look at this, looks like 3 and 2, so I know this is going to be 5. So I would click this 5 and drag it over there. Okay, and it still leaves one there for me if I want to put it somewhere else. And it looks like I might right here. So right here it looks like I have a blank, and this is 7 feet, and that's 2 feet, so 7 minus 2 is 5. So I also need to bring a 5 over there. So I'm just going to drag. Well, it says also use the connect line tool to draw a line dividing the diagram of the two desks. Make each desk 5 feet by 2 feet. Well, that means I need to draw a line right about here. And the way I do that is I come up here to add point, click on that. I can put a point here. I want the line to go to there, from there to there. Now that I have my points, I can select connect line. If I hit connect line, now I can come here and click with my left mouse button, drag down and let go right there. Well, let's say I changed my mind. I can always hit the delete X, delete. And if I come over here, I see that little crosshair, looks like a plus sign, but it's actually going to take things away, so we'll just call it a crosshair. And if I click on that, it'll get rid of it. It got rid of the point and the line, so let me click on that to get rid of it. Just know if I want to do anything else, I have to click on this again, because it's gray, it means I'm in the delete mode. I'll click it again. Now they're all ready for whatever I want to do. So again, if I wanted to put a point, I click here, put my point. If I wanted it like this, I could put one here, and then hit connect, and connect the line. Let's see if it'll let me move it afterwards. I'm going to come over here to the arrow and grab it. Yep, it looks like once you put it on there with this arrow button, the red one, it'll let you move it around. So I'm a little happier with where it is now. And that's pretty much it. So the last thing they ask you to do is, what is the total area of the L-shaped desk? Drag numbers into your box to show your answer. So that means I want to know what the total square footage is here. Well, let's say I forgot to fill that in and went to next. Let's see what would happen. Oop, it went back. It should not allow me to do that. What it sometimes will do is it'll tell you to make sure you answer the entire problem. So I'm going to go ahead and put 20 square feet. So again, I click with the left mouse button to drag it over and drop it in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit next, and it'll take me to this page. Let's see, use this number line to answer the question that follows. So in this one, it says choose all the number lines that show a fraction equal to the fraction shown by point B. So you could select more than one. Okay, you can change your mind. So on these, sometimes the question asks you to select more than one because it says choose all the number lines. It doesn't say choose the number line. So in that case, I can choose more than one. Okay. Just want to point this out also. Up here, if I hit this little information icon anywhere when I'm on a test, it'll give me a little hint of what's going on. So that tells you to choose all the right answers. Shows you kind of how to select more than one letter. And if you're done with that, you can always go ahead and click that little X and it'll get rid of it. Okay. This allows you to take notes. So let's say there was something I wanted to remember, so I could click on that little bubble and I could say, remember that length times width. Maybe I wanted to remember that for later on when I needed to find the area of a square, and hit save and close so I can come back to that. And then there's flag. If I click on flag, it puts a check mark here. When I get to the very end of my test, it'll remind me, hey, you put a flag. In other words, I want to come back and look at this question. So let's say I wasn't sure about this question, but I wanted to continue on with the test. I'd continue with the next couple questions, and when I got to the very end, it would remind me, hey, you have a flag here. You might want to come back to it. Here's a question number 16, where it's asking you to drag a certain amount of chairs onto this little area. So they're having a party. So you would just click with your left mouse button. Again, you can continually grab however many you want. So let's say you wanted 3, for example, and you pulled 4. You can always hit the delete and then click on the one you want to get rid of. And if I click on that, now that I have that little crosshair, boom, it goes away. Okay, here's a final question. 21 asks you if the number 7 were in this box, would this be a true statement? So 6 times 7 is 36? No. 8 times 7 is 64? No. 49 divided by 7 is 7? Yes. 54 divided by 7 is 6? No. And then if I hit next, it says, hey, you've answered all the questions in the test. When you finish checking your answers, go ahead and hit end. Oh, okay, so I'm done. So I'm going to hit end test. Okay, it says click yes to continue to the next page. There you go. Now, if I wanted to review some of my answers, I would just come down here and look, I can come down. Look, number 2 is marked because I checked that little flag. I could check that one or any of these. And after I did that, I could always hit submit test. And this is a reminder here that you've marked some questions. So review these questions before submitting your test. So remember, if you mark a flag, you'll see it there. And after you've gone back and reviewed your answers and you know you've done the best you can, then you hit submit test. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And you're done.